Steve, we're doing a live.
Hello.
Doing a live.
Hello.
We're doing a live.
Hello.
Yes, we are live. Guys, it's alive.
Oh, breaking news. There's a sale on.
Like Vin Diesel, it's alive. Oh, and since we are live, before we get into the review of Ahsoka, it looks like the writers and the studios are so far so good. They had negotiations today, and it looks like they might be coming to an agreement.
I want to say that's bullshit because
Hopefully,
the writer's strike was given one hell of a sweetheart deal, and they still said no. All because
the deal was terrible.
No, because they were not given the writers' room that they demanded.
Well, it was a terrible deal. Not only were they not,
deal.
not only it was a terrible deal. Not only were they not
deal.
given, they were not given the writers. They were not given the writers' room or the option of picking the amount of writers that they need in a room. They were not even given the price increase that they were asking for, and they were given no concessions on AI. So when I looked at the deal, I realized that the studios were bullshitting a month ago. But today's negotiations went very, very well, according to both parties, both the writers, WGA, and the studios. And they're going to be meeting tomorrow to hash out a deal. If they come to an agreement tomorrow, the deal would be put together and hopefully it'll be signed by next week. And hopefully the writer's strike will end this month, by the end of this month. So far, so good, guys. I'm not trying to get everybody's hopes up. Nothing is 100% certain yet. But so far, things are looking good. They're looking okay. And then when they're done with that, they'll start negotiating with the SAG and give the SAG probably the same deals they gave the writers. So, yeah.
I'm going to say this. When it comes to people who need money increase, the writer's getting $11,000 a week, maybe more now, a week. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. That is not per project. That is per week.
For the project. For a project.
project.
No, but for projects also in streaming because studios basically destroyed residuals using the streaming model where they don't pay anybody what they're worth in comparison to what they were making on network TV. Like, if you became a showrunner on the show and it did well, you were not only paid like $20,000 a week for seasons that were like 22, 26 episodes, you would also get residuals that were like another $18,000, $20,000 as well. So you could, if you were a showrunner on a successful show, you were making like $40,000 a week in total. And if you had a hit show, that was great. But because of streaming, they basically gutted the majority of that.
Okay.
You know.
So I'm going to interject here. Ladies and gentlemen, before I tap the table. All right, I'm going to that. But we're going to focus on our Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka.
Review. Fuck the writers now. It's Ahsoka time.
Yeah. So far, so good with the WGA. So far, things are going well. But yeah, we're moving on to Ahsoka.
To Ahsoka, or as to some people say it that are not Star Wars fans, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
Ahsoka.
I thought episode 6 was great, just not as great as episode 5 overall. I would give episode 6 a 9 out of 10. But the actor Mads Mikkelsen who plays Thrawn is incredible. The actor who plays Ezra looks like almost exactly like Ezra in the cartoon. Even they also got like the blue eye contact as well. So
I didn't like
that was great.
There was one thing I didn't like about Thrawn's appearance. Why did he have black irises? The guy's eyes were red.
Yeah, they were red all the way through.
No.
Yeah, they were red.
The center of his eyes was black.
No, it was red. It was very red. It was like a very reddish color.
It's not really a black thing, but anyways.
It was reddish.
Hollywood wants to make everybody look humanish.
No, it was red. It was mostly red. I didn't see any black irises.
I will gladly pull up the episode for you to see.
Yeah, we can look at it. We can look at it right now.
Well, no, not right now because we're all...
No, I mean we can look at the images because it was all red. I mean he probably had like a black dot in his eyes, but that's no different from like Rebels.
No, that's not supposed to be there.
No, I mean that was fine.
Just don't have that trait on their eyes. Their eyes are red. They look like.
No, it was red.
Whatever. Anyways, we're moving on because he's not gonna agree with it. And I'm gonna try to explain it. And it's gonna take a whole lot of time.
Yeah, but I love the blue eye contact with Ezra. That was great. Sabine and Ezra being reunited, I thought that was great overall. We didn't get enough Ahsoka. She was in the first 10 minutes of the episode, and then it just kind of drifted off. And the episode, I will say this, as much as I love the episode, the one thing that bothered me about Thrawn's appearance was the hairpiece. It looked a little bit out of place. It didn't look like it fit with the rest of him. That was my only problem.
Well, I want to say, I believe, and I don't want to say I think, I don't know what to think. I'm under the impression that they were trying to make it look like he was away for so long, his hair kind of grew disheveled.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, Thrawn is somebody who maintains everything from appearance to cleanliness to
Yeah, see, it's red.
no,
But there's like black.
The black, that's not a little black.
Yeah, but that's no different from the cartoon. Let's look at the Rebels.
So, and if you look at Chiss art, Chiss images, there is no black iris.
No, there is. I think in Rebels.
Anyways, so the first thing we want to talk about that I want to bring up because he's just like stuck on eyes.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
He needs to admire Thrawn's eyes. He needs to get lost in those hard.
It's your fault for making this a topic.
Blooded red.
It's your fault for making this a topic.
No.
Let's see here. Is that clear? Different. Look, see, black irises. Star Wars Rebels. See, that's not a problem.
It's always freaking Hollywood that wants to make everybody look human-ish.
No, he had black irises in Rebels.
Your damn thing is slow as fuck.
That's completely right. See, there's a black iris right there. Look, see?
Oh,
She's got a little bit. It's just smaller. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's your iPad.
Yeah.
So
See,
the
Dave Filoni got it right. Dave Filoni got it right.
I was about to criticize. I was like, what the fuck did he do? No, Dave Filoni fucked up lore. The Great Hyperspace War is pointless. Pointless. It's the Star Wars has turned into the whole thing of Moby Dick.
Yeah, what, with the whales?
The whales.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. With her traveling in the whales, I love it. It was great. And I love that the whales that were like such an important part of season 3 of Rebels are like a very important part of Ahsoka. And like Dave Filoni, that's like his creation. And he's like, the way he's incorporated them into the story, I'm like, yes, I'm loving this. But yeah.
I am disappointed that the whole hyperspace, the Great Hyperspace War, which plunged thousands of planets into devastation, the loss of life went from cataclysmic numbers to sheer absurdity, has now been erased because of a bunch of fucking Moby Dick whales in space.
Well, but that war happened, long before.
Yes, but
Before Ahsoka.
No, but because the Star Whales exist and are now canon, it erases the whole purpose of the hyperspace wars.
No, but the hyperspace war could still happen. They probably just didn't know about the whales.
That's a possibility.
We could just say they didn't know about the whales.
I'm not going to argue for or against it because my brain is caught up in wanting to kill a whale, to kill a star whale, to be specific.
And that was so disturbing too when they got to that grave site, basically, well, all those whale bones. I was like, dude, that is so disturbing.
Oh,
holy shit!
So one of the scenes.
Holy hell!
That's something on the list here. I might as well speak about it now because we're addressing it. So when it came to the planet, I forgot the name of it. Do you remember the name of the planet?
In Ahsoka? No, I don't remember the name of the planet. Yeah.
It is canonical.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look and prove me
Well,
wrong.
Tarkin is a canon book. Yeah. It was during the Sith, when the Sith Empire was around.
Before, actually, a little bit before.
No, it says it right here. Mentions it was a wage against the Sith during the Age of the Old Republic, where the Sith managed to invade Coruscant.
Oh yes,
But that was in Legends. I don't know if all that's been incorporated in the canon.
Well, yeah,
But it was canonically mentioned.
So the setting of Coruscant, or when Coruscant was invaded or attacked by the Sith Empire, the setting of Coruscant was that a small elite number of Sith personnel, Sith individuals, managed to slip past the Republic defenses, crash into the Jedi Temple, attack the temple, burn the temple, and raze it to the ground.
Yeah.
And that was what left the mark of the sacking of Coruscant. But anyways, we're here for Ahsoka.
Yeah, it hasn't really been completely canonized yet, but so we'll see what Disney does with that. But because of them doing their own thing, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's not going to be incorporated into the new stuff. But yeah,
No, but a lot of things were mentioned here. So the fact that
not the hyperspace one, but yeah.
No. But a lot of other things were mentioned.
Right.
So there's the conversation about the history of the galaxy from books 1, 2, and 3,
Okay.
which I take it is supposed to be some kind of reference to the Star Wars history itself.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool reference.
I was like, oh man,
That was
it's
interesting.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So now we at least have some of an image of who's telling the story.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And how those stories have been archived. Well, because Hu Yang is
It's the
droid.
droid.
And the droid.
It's the
like,
droids telling the story.
My data banks here can tell you the story.
So 500 years from the events of Ahsoka and the sequel trilogy, the droid is going to be telling the story. It's the droids. It's not the Wills. It's not the Wills who created the Force or in charge of the Force. It's the droids that are in charge of everything. But go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna skip a little bit because we kind of got past all of that and got to the planet right off the bat.
Yeah.
So we want to mention that the Force provides all but not answers, which was one of the comments that were made during the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And before I start sounding like I'm slurring, say something before I slur. What is your thoughts on the fact that the comment about the Force providing but not giving the answers? What is your thoughts on that?
No, that fits with canonical explanations of the Force, at least with the movies.
So
the first three movies
in
and
a way,
sequel trilogy.
Yep, in a way, when they say the Force provides but does not give all the answers, you could sort of say it's a reference to what spiritualists believe in when they say, "Oh, God's gonna do this," and it's not gonna give all the answers.
It fits with the spiritual beliefs about the Force, yeah.
Yes, so it's more.
And it parallels real life, where people who are religious or spiritual are not going to get every answer that they want, and that's just the way it is. Well, we won't know everything in our lifetime. Yeah.
No, and I fret the idea that I'd be turned into a fucking droid and have my brain uploaded to storage.
No, I know that's the funny part. All of this that's happening is going to be in the droid's database.
Nope. Well, no, that's a comment that came up actually.
And since Coruscant is under the New Republic and the Jedi Order is being slowly created by Luke Skywalker before Rey is reestablishing the Jedi Order, all this information about the Jedi and their history are still in the archives. In fact, I think they were still in the archives when the Empire were in charge. Well, it's just that they were put in the back burner and were not the main focus anymore because the Jedi's got wiped out.
No, so when the
mostly wiped out.
No. When the Empire, and I'm probably going to say Legends or something, but when the Empire attacked the temple and had control of it, the archives were thoroughly searched for regarding any information alongside of holocrons that the Emperor himself collected.
Right.
Holocrons most specifically.
That's in Legends, yeah.
So when it comes to what knowledge was stored at the Jedi Temple, all of that is technically untouched.
Yeah, well, we don't.
Technically, it's untouched.
We don't completely know. I mean, after the Empire took over Coruscant, I don't think the Emperor would have purged all Jedi information.
No,
I think he would have kept it because he himself used to be a Jedi, and he would want all that information readily available as well, just in case anything popped up.
Well, don't forget he was training acolytes, Sith acolytes, or people who were learning.
Used to be Jedis that were becoming what's the word?
Dark Jedis. They were
not dark Jedis. It was Inquisitors. That's what they were becoming. Yeah.
So
the Inquisitors.
Acolytes is a specific title that Sith give those they're teaching or those that are learning under them.
Which is a show coming out. Yeah.
Which I'm not.
I love that.
I'm not looking forward to it, but yes, it's a show coming out. However, acolytes were basically you have to earn your position for me to teach you.
Yeah.
So prove yourself, and then I'll teach you.
Right.
Oh, and while you're trying to learn from me, X amount of other people are trying to also learn from me at the same time, so you gotta kill each other to find out who's fit to be the one under me. But I want to say that regarding Balin, not Balin, and I don't want to stop right. Excuse me. When it came to Ahsoka regarding how Sabine had made her choice to go with Balin and what's his apprentice's name and the witch girl?
Right.
How Hu Yang mentioned fear being in her, that she was displaying a trait of fear that is unbefitting of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm curious as to what your view is on that.
What was the scene?
Where Hu Yang told her she was exhibiting fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the traits that is not something that the Jedi will have or experience or really face.
Well, Sabine is not completely a Jedi. She's not really that strong in the Force.
Ahsoka having fear because Sabine had chosen to go with Balin.
Yeah. Well, it made sense for Ahsoka to be afraid that Sabine is making the wrong choice because she knows that Sabine Wren made a decision for herself and not for the betterment of the galaxy. So, she's worried about what that actually entails. I can see how she could be afraid, but, Ahsoka is now, I think, more at peace of who she is. And she knows that she's a Jedi now, but it's going to be a challenge in the last 2 episodes. I don't think the ending of this show is going to be as uplifting as people think it's going to be. I think it might end in an Empire Strikes Back kind of way that will lead up to Dave Filoni's movie that's supposed to be coming out in 3 years.
Makes sense.
After Mandalorian Season 4, of course.
Yeah, they're still going on with that?
Yeah.
They're trying to milk everything to death.
Well, Dave Filoni, for shows that, he usually tries to do 4 seasons. Clone Wars ended up being 7 seasons. Clone War Rebels, he did 4 seasons. Mandalorian was probably going to be 4 seasons, then it's going to be over. The animated series he did in the late 2010s was only going to be 2 seasons because it only was taking place during the events of The Force Awakens and then during the events of The Last Jedi and then end. Like it was going to take place, it started a year before the events of The Force Awakens and then it would end during the events of The Last Jedi. Right, so yeah.
So we mentioned, I mean, because we skipped a whole huge amount of things here. Before we get to the graveyard of the planet, being Star Whales, corpses, and bones, what is it called? Is it a star ring?
Yeah, what about it?
All right, so the star ring leaves the hyperspace.
The spaceship.
The
big spaceship.
The big ring of death.
The ring, yeah.
It's not the red ring.
I mean, it's a cool looking ship. I mean, I don't even know if it's even plausible to put something like that together and for it to have that capability. But I thought it was cool looking. But yeah, what about it?
So we see that it is approaching the world where the star whales have bones being the freaking asteroid belt or the ring itself.
Right.
That planet has significance because in the episode, I'm going to skip a good... Right there.
It's like a force-sensitive planet, yeah.
It's a force-sensitive planet. Well, if you're saying force-sensitive, it's force-sensitive but strong in the dark side. Since it is the homeworld of the Night Sisters, known as a group of witches in Star Wars that are able to manipulate the dark side of the Force to use magic.
Yeah.
So, to see that, and because the ring of the ring around the planet being the bones of Star Whales holds significance because death is there, and death is part of the dark side.
Yeah.
It leads us to think that, we can go to the forward because that planet apparently is calling out to Balin.
Right.
And Balin senses something of power.
Yeah.
And it's also the reason why the night witches, the Night Sisters, go pilgrimage to other planets.
Yeah. And I hope someday they could show like a flashback with Thrawn fighting in the war with Anakin because Thrawn used to work with the Old Republic. The Republic wasn't the Old Republic, it was the Republic when they were going to war against the Separatists. And Thrawn did go into battles a couple times, and he knew Anakin very well. In fact, he was one of the few people in the Empire who knew that Anakin was Vader. He was the only one that probably knew that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. So if he finds out that Ahsoka's former master is Anakin, who was Darth Vader, he could probably use that to really fuck with her, like to really get into her head and to intimidate her in the last 2 episodes. I would love for that. In fact, I would love for there to someday be like a flashback where they show that. That would be really, really cool. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be really good, actually. One of the things I want to mention from Legends, Chiss were also known as Skywalkers, not Skywalkers, Skywalkers, because they were able to exude some levels of the Force, and they were able to navigate the stars.
Cool. Awesome.
That's in Legends. I don't know if canon has incorporated it. But let's talk about
It hasn't.
Let's talk about the fact that Balin is using Sith approach when it comes to Sabine in the cell. Mm-hmm. How she's impatiently asking and demanding about Ezra. At this point, I'm starting to think that girl has an obsession with the guy.
Yeah, I think they I was hoping they would do this in Rebels, but they never did. I hope Sabine and Ezra end up in a relationship. I really hope they get together. I think they would be a really great couple. It never happened in Rebels, and I hope it happens by the end of Ahsoka or in the movie or somewhere in the future. I will hope something like that does happen.
It should happen considering the fact that she's so obsessed with
Yeah, I mean, I think she loves him as a friend, but it could be something more. I hope it's, Well, but yeah, they still haven't really said that Balin is a Sith yet. I think...
No. In the episode, Thrawn, remember when...
he just called him a renegade. Well, they were called just renegades.
Well,
it wasn't renegade. It was something else. It was something like... but they didn't call them Sith.
No.
Yes. And Thrawn would know what a Sith is.
Yes.
So I think Balin and Shin are just dark Jedi or Jedis that are part of the dark side of the Force. But they haven't been given like a real name yet.
So I want to say that Thrawn is the only one to get the understanding of, Jedi are known for deception, and you as a Night Witch, as a Night Sister, should be above that and be able to see it. However,
that was cool.
It was funny to see him.
I just love how intense he was.
Manner speech.
Yeah, he had such a frank manner of speech, and he just looked so intense. The intensity with his facial expressions, the way he carried himself. I'm like, this guy is freaking amazing as Thrawn.
I want to mention something. We all know, we all waited for the build-up for Thrawn to finally appear.
Took 6 episodes,
Bridger.
but yeah.
Took 6 episodes. They should have been 7 if they're gonna draw it like this, because they just left it on a cliffhanger. However, those stormtroopers he had
We're awesome looking,
were
right?
awesome. The one guy with the Roman death mask, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
And the guy's name connects to the Book of Revelation, and that scripture in the Book of Revelation talks about death, carnage, hell, fire and flame, fire and brimstone. Like, it's so cool the biblical references they make in this show. That was like so cool. Like when I heard his name, it sounded familiar. I looked it up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that scripture in the Book of Revelation, and it was just so great the way Dave Filoni is making those connections. I thought that was great. But yeah, the suits and the facial stuff and the painting and how it's all put together, I'm like, it looks so freaking cool, man. That shit was great.
You know what's interesting?
What?
The Imperials, the stormtroopers, are speaking a whole other language.
Yeah, it was weird.
You speak my language, because you know it's canon. Yes, the Empire the Empire had a huge racial animosity and hostility towards aliens.
But they're basically speaking Thrawn's language.
Yes.
That's what they were speaking.
They were speaking, I forget the name of the language.
I mean, that is awesome. Like, and the fact they made that canon was great. And to think that, you know, the Empire is such a racist organization towards other alien species, for them to allow Thrawn to ascend to such a high rank, powerful position in the Empire. What's it called? Chun. To allow Thrawn to be in such a high, powerful position of authority is that's a testament to how cunning and how intelligent and how ruthless Thrawn actually is.
See, one of the things that Thrawn, and one of the things that separates Thrawn from every other Imperial Naval Academy cadet was that Thrawn was someone who learned while doing. Everybody else learned after making numerous mistakes, which allowed Thrawn to overtake a lot of the Academy graduates and attendees. Also, one of the things that he could do was that under the leadership of others, when command itself made the most irrational, illogically driven decisions, he would, not commandeer, but he would put the input of commands to remedy that situation, which allowed him to further climb the rank. This drew the attention of his darkness of old Sith, the Emperor, Palpatine, Sidious, whatever you want to call him, who took a liking to Thrawn and had personally placed him in a Grand Admiral position after many promotions being achieved by Thrawn back to back. Mm-hmm. Kind of like when you wake up, kind of like when you blink, the guy was getting promoted every second. But Chun is a language that is not human, so the Empire would have no reason, no desire to learn it.
Right.
The Empire had no reason or desire to learn any other alien language, except for that of what the Palpatine and Sidious or the Emperor would talk. And even then, it was only so few who knew what was being said.
Right.
The guards, mostly. However, because Filoni is now tying the fact that the Empire under Thrawn is more than ready to advance itself and the means necessary to become that dominant force once again, it shows that the Empire itself has changed under Thrawn.
Right.
Right. We're not going to count the Star.
We don't. Well, in that part of the galaxy, I mean, but everybody in Ahsoka's galaxy is waiting for his return. But we don't know how far the change actually goes yet. No. Because when the First Order got started, the First Order was still basically the Empire. You didn't see a lot of aliens that were in positions of power in the First Order.
No, the thing with the First Order. The thing with the First Order, and I want to say this, and I want to make myself clear to any other Star Wars fan, any individual that's viewing this video or that will view this video, is the First Order never became the First Order. It was always the Empire. It was just under a Sidious Palpatine clone. Yeah,
it was just it evolves into the First Order. That's where it's going.
Okay.
But we're seeing the beginning of the First Order. We're seeing the remnants of it.
Before we continue,
the seeds being planted.
Before we continue, if you like this type of content so far, hit that like, hit that notification bell,
hit the like and subscribe.
Hit the subscribe button. Turn that button gray. Keep up to date with what we're doing, what I upload, what's talked about, what we discuss, what we're possibly pondering. And stay tuned. Now again,
But I will say that I do like that they're planting the seeds of the First Order getting started. Because we see what the First Order is. It's basically the Empire, but we're seeing them slowly trying to come back, make the comeback.
I don't like the fact I don't like what is being done to display the First Order as that the Empire being incompetent, despite certain areas of sections of people being incompetent in positions of leadership. The Empire was more than capable. The only thing I truly dislike is how it's tying into the sequel trilogy, which was atrocious in every single
Well,
way.
the sequel trilogy is canon, that's why. That's why they're tying into it.
It's such an atrocious series. God.
Well, it ended badly. The Rise of Skywalker was terrible.
Well, the whole
But it
thing
doesn't
was
matter.
bad. The whole thing was bad.
It doesn't matter how bad the Rise of Skywalker was. It's still canon. And of course, I want to see what happened in this time period that made the Empire have to rethink and regroup and just become the First Order. Like, did they get into contact with the Emperor? And was he? Did they find him in the far reaches of the galaxy? Or
I wonder if we're gonna go based off the book where we're gonna get Thrawn cloning himself or having the Emperor cloned, and that's what leads up to.
yeah, I
the
know
sequel trilogy.
it's stupid, but they'll probably do it anyway. It's so stupid. It was stupid in the expanding universe, and it's stupid now with the Emperor cloning himself and making clones of himself.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, no,
if
it was so
Thrawn-
bad.
I wouldn't be
It
surprised if
sucked.
Thrawn clones the Emperor and the Emperor clones himself, and then you get whatever his name is, the Supreme whatever, and then you have the clone of Palpatine. But you know what would be funny is if Disney does not know how to drop a fucking bomb, and they clone Palpatine again, so that when his clone dies, his clone is still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna redo. They're gonna do that again.
That guy is going to deliver so much greatness to carry an entire franchise off his back.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that again.
Anyways,
As bad as that was.
yeah. So I want to mention that Balin's apprentice was her name Shin.
Shin, yeah. Balin's apprentice's name is
How
Shin.
she compared her
She's fucking
training-
awesome, and she had more dialogue in episode 6 than what she had in the first 5 episodes. Like, she was talking a lot.
Yeah.
She had a lot of dialogue in
She was
episode 6.
comparing her training to that of Ezra's. Balin told her, no, Ezra is basically a country bumpkin sword style wielding Jedi.
But he also told her that he did train as a Jedi. And he says, you're not just a Jedi, I trained you to be something more.
Yes.
So that was interesting. But yeah, Shin is a great villain. I love it. And I just wanted to mention that, like, people love Shin more than Reva because Shin is a better written character by Dave Filoni. It's a better character development, a better actress. She has better dialogue, and she actually is her character, and she's not taking over a story that isn't about her. That's why people didn't like Reva. A lot of people were saying that, oh, you love Shin more than Reva because you're racist. It's like, no. It's because, I mean, that play, there are a lot of people that are like that, and that's terrible. But the reason why people dislike Reva is because the actress who played Reva was terrible. 2, her dialogue was shit. 3, she was basically a co-lead character in a show that's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's why that character had so much backlash. Meanwhile, with Ahsoka,
Meanwhile, her lightsaber
Shin...
didn't sell shit. No one
Meanwhile-
wanted to support that lightsaber.
Meanwhile, Shin in the Ahsoka series is not a co-lead character with Ahsoka. She's not a co-lead character with Ahsoka. Steve, she's not a co-lead character with Ahsoka.
No,
she's
she's a character
she is a
who's
villain.
in the story.
No, what I'm saying, she's in the story, but she's not a co-lead. The show is about Ahsoka. The entire story is about Ahsoka, and that's who the focus is on.
Yes, she
and
does
that's
not
why people
overshadow-
love.
She does not overshadow Sabine.
She doesn't overshadow Sabine.
Ahsoka.
She doesn't overshadow-
She does not overshadow Balin.
Ahsoka or
She's
Balin,
a
yeah.
character who is in the shadow with purpose and reason because her
Yeah.
character is being developed
Yeah, and
further.
she's had great development, and the actress that plays her is really, really great. She has a lot of talent and a lot of ability. But yeah, go ahead.
I want to say that regardless of how one may view Shin, she's a character who is far more likable. If you want to say character-wise, if you're attracted to her character because her character's better developed,
She's
or
just so well written.
She's just very well written.
It's because Dave Filoni knows Star Wars. He just knows Star Wars.
There's some things I want to question him on, but I won't go.
I
there.
mean, Dave Filoni is Star Wars. It's like the back of his own hand. I mean, it's incredible.
I digress. We may have a differing view on that, but
I mean, just
will
look at
not-
how he writes shit.
But I'm not-
That's what a Dark Jedi Padawan is supposed to be acting. Like, it was great.
No, I'm referring to other things. But anyway, moving on. I want to mention that Sabine ends up having a whole encounter after her agreement with Balin being honored. that they would take her to where Thrawn is so they can find Ezra. Thrawn lets her go and is like, yeah, I never broke the promise. If she finds him, kill them both.
Yeah,
She found them. It's stuck to the word. He
So
held
just
his
get-
bargain. He held his end.
Yeah. Then I love Thrawn. He's like, he finds a loophole in everything. It's like, yeah, I stay true to my bargain. She's gonna go find him, and when he does, go kill them both. It's great.
And what's her name? I'm trying to remember her name. I have to look at my notes to find out. But the Night Sister, the
Night Sister character,
Night Sister character, she's like, shouldn't you send more troopers with them? He's like, no, we don't need that. We're low on supplies.
No, we're
as it
low on
is."
supplies. Just leave them, and we're just gonna go back to our galaxy. I love it. It's great. I like this is who Thrawn is supposed to be.
Thrawn is. I'm enjoying this sequence of Thrawn for the reason that we're
Thanks,
getting
Blaine.
water. Hold on, water break.
Thanks, Blaine.
Thank you, Blaine. Oh, I got some water. I'm not going to necessary drink. Unnecessary parchment. But Thrawn in this episode feels exactly like how Thrawn should be.
Right.
When the Star Destroyer came into view, descended, and you see all the stormtroopers lined up, prepared, and ready to shoot, and
Yeah.
standing in different positions, it was phenomenal because Thrawn is a person who would have anticipated an assassination ahead of time.
The first book I ever read about Thrawn was the Thrawn book by Timothy Zahn. That was the first book I ever
I read.
read.
All three of them.
That,
And what
I
like-
didn't read Heir to the Empire, but I read Thrawn by Timothy Zahn that came out back in 2016 or 2017, and it was amazing. It was great.
I want to say that when it came to the Thrawn trilogy, Timothy Zahn really created Thrawn in a way that was perfect. You had somebody who was calm, composed, knew what to do, how to act, when to act, all that.
Right.
This was a character that had zero flaws. Well,
As far as characterization.
As
As far as we
characterization.
know the character, yeah.
as far as we know the character and his personality, his mindset, zero flaws. He knew that if he was speaking with a pirate, pirates are going to turn on him and attack him. So he turns around, the pirates are killed. Simple as that.
Right.
And prior to anyone asking about the Blacksmith Pirates, the Blacksmith Pirates in Legends were destroyed by the Empire after Tiber Zahn, leader of the Zahn Consortium, committed a raid stealing kryptonite gas
Right.
from Bespin, which was under the Empire's rule.
Yeah.
And it was set up to frame the Blacksmith Pirates. And for anyone who's not aware of Legends, in Legends, the Zahn Consortium is the criminal underworld that is controlling everything from behind the scenes while the Empire and the Rebel are fighting.
Right.
But anyways, I want to mention that Sabine is treating this alien dog she went with, this alien that she's with the mount. She treats it like a dog.
I love how she treats it like shit. And then he has to prove himself because he ran away. He did run away when the shit went down.
But be fair.
I mean,
all animal instinct is when there's danger,
I know,
you flee.
but her reaction was totally justified. I loved it. She was like, "You fucking abandoned me, you prick." Like, you asshole. And he was like, I loved it. And he was like, he felt bad. And he had to spend the next like 20 minutes having to prove himself. And then finally he did. And she slowly forgave him. And then she met the fucking turtle people who were introduced in, I think, in Clone Wars.
Were they?
Yeah, I think they were introduced in Clone Wars. I was like, oh my God, the turtle people. Like, what? The turtle people. Turtle people.
Mind you, this is an alien species. It's a mount. It's a dog. It's an alien
Ezra
dog.
was chilling with the turtle people the whole time.
Oh, mind you,
the whole time.
mind you, the little greeting of seeing each other, hugging each other. It was like, yeah, woo, get out, woo.
That was great. I loved it. And I just love the turtle people, and their houses and their huts are all built like turtles. And every time there's something terrible about to happen or they get the sense, they just shrink up in their turtles. I love it. They just, in their shells, they just go right into their shells. I loved it. It was great. It was great actually seeing them again because I honestly didn't remember them because it's been so long since I watched Clone Wars, that episode. And when I saw them, I was like, oh shit, this is so cool. Great.
I want to say it felt, it was justified seeing Sabine walk amongst an alien settlement and being treated like a foreigner.
Yeah.
Like, no, you may be a rebel, but who the fuck are you?
Right.
What are you doing here? Everyone giving her those weird eyes, and she was being offered, what was it, mushroom, food?
Uh-huh.
Whatever that was, she said nope. And then they feed it to the dog, which is hugging with Ezra. And he's like, oh, I thought he was going to invite her inside. I was like, oh, so you guys can go finally connect the force
Yeah,
together.
they're not getting it on yet. It was just a big hug. It's like a big best friend hug.
Now, I do want to mention one thing. At the ending of the episode, how the night, they're not the matriarchs, the elders, the elder mothers of the Night Sisters, the three that were standing there, that whatever, they sense Ahsoka coming to the planet or on her way to the planet. Thrawn turns to that Night Witch character lady. As is basically like, oh, Ahsoka's still alive? Okay, well, like, give me all the information you have on her. I want to know her. I'm like, what do you want? Her social, her date of birth, her name, her plant, all that? He's like, you would understand something. Thrawn will take any little tiny bit of information you have and turn it into a...
Yeah, and once he finds out that Anakin, who he knows was Darth Vader, once he finds out that that was her Jedi Master, he's going to use it to fuck with her. I think that's what he's going to do. That's most likely what's going to happen.
I think what we're going to see is, and this is speculation, ladies and gentlemen, this is speculation. I want you to be very well aware that anything we say here now, this moment, this second, this instance, is all speculation and nothing more.
Because the last two episodes haven't happened yet. We're still waiting for the last two episodes.
We are waiting for the next
Episode 7 is next Wednesday, and episode 8 is the following Wednesday, so that would be October the 4th.
Is that Tuesdays? It should be Tuesdays.
Wednesdays. No, Tuesdays, you're right. So October the 3rd is the last episode. So yeah, it's Tuesdays, yeah.
So, speculation,
October 3rd.
Again, we're in speculation. We're going to speculate here.
Yep.
I think on speculation, next episode, Ahsoka's going to arrive. She's going to try to go for the main ring. The ring's going to fire upon her. The whales are going to die, and the mother whale's going to pretty much let them out, and they're going to go to the planet. And
Can you imagine getting a big battle sequence with the whales? And I just wanted to mention that the CGI and the visuals in Ahsoka has been beautiful. Like, it's like Disney was saving all of their money and their budget for this show because Obi-Wan series didn't get this.
No.
Their visuals were not great, and they didn't use a single TIE fighter in that show. It was such a stupid, badly written show to the point where I had to blame it either on a lack of budget or just bad writers. But on this show, we see in this show we're seeing TIE fighters, we're seeing space whales, we're seeing battle scenes in space, we're seeing sword fight scenes and lightsabers. We're seeing all types of shit. We're seeing all types of shit. Remember season 3 of The Mandalorian? We saw a lot of battles in the sky too. We're seeing a lot of shit recently in Star Wars.
I want to point out, ladies and gentlemen, that we're moving away from Mandalorian. My speculative belief is that Ahsoka will appear next episode. The whales are going to try to go to the ring. They're going to be fired upon. A lot of them are going to die. The mother whale's going to open its mouth, let Ahsoka out. The mother whale will die in turn. And they'll go to the planet only to find out that Thrawn's present. They found Thrawn. Thrawn will have a trap set up, sprung ready for them. They'll spring him once they get into the planet. And from then on, that episode will either end with Ahsoka and everyone being left behind on that planet. Ironically, would be a justified fate. Or they're going to battle, and then they're going to get knocked off. They're going to get left behind when Thrawn goes to hyperspace. The last episode is going to be Thrawn returns to the galaxy, and you'll have the whole Civil War 2 resume.
Right.
Well, there'll be a Civil War. It'll resume. No, the Civil War was the Republic versus the Separatists.
That kind of was the Civil War.
That was a Civil War.
There really was. Yeah.
It was hijacked by supremacists.
The politics of it made no sense, but I mean, it was still that's what it was.
The politics of that.
The politics were just hysterical.
Yes. But in episode one,
Those aliens with the racist Asian voices. Their whole reasoning to go to war was stupid, and then you find out it was because the Emperor was the one who was putting it all together, which he never even had to do in the first place. That whole process and everything just made no sense.
So there was a little disconnect there, but that is a speculation that I am going to go on. What is your speculative belief here?
Yeah, I think episode 7 is going to be a big battle. I think Ahsoka's going to be confronted by Thrawn, and I think Ahsoka and the New Republic or whoever are going to lose. I think Thrawn is going to win, and by the end of episode 8, he's going to be on his way back to the galaxy to recreate the Empire. I think that's what's going to happen at the end of the season.
I want to say that is a speculative belief we have. Overall,
What'd you think? What's your rating for the episode?
I want to mention one thing. Thrawn did ask the Night Sister mothers, the elder mothers, excuse me, about having their help, and their comment about the statement they made, how they stated Destiny demands it. Destiny demands Thrawn's return. So no matter what, I believe Thrawn is going to return to the galaxy at large by the Night Sister Mother's own statement, because it is demanded by Destiny. It is demanded, and because Destiny is something that has played a part in Star Wars for a very long time. Thrawn will return, the galaxy will continue to a war, and then the movie will come out. It'll either
Be about that,
It'll either
and then they defeat them again, and then they become the First Order.
I don't
Or Dave Filoni could just reboot everything because of the multiverse. He
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah.
That would probably be a better option, even though people are burned out with the multiverse, everything. Like the multiverse is just everywhere.
Well, I want to say this. If he does go with the multiverse, risky as it is, people are already burned out with Star Wars considering Disney has fucked up so much of it. The thing with the multiverse is it allows the opportunity to reset the franchise onto the correct path, and considering the fact that Ahsoka was pulled out of a completely different universe, because Ahsoka from that universe, well, from the universe we know of Star Wars, died by Vader's hand. So this Ahsoka is a completely different universe. Ahsoka, it basically confirms the multiverse. So all things, whether it's considered legends, canon.
That's
evil-
probably what Anakin is guarding in the first place. Probably. I mean, he's in the afterlife, and he has to guard whatever that place was. That I think is the same place as at the end of Rebels. So,
I want to say that the multiverse.
oh my God, if they bring back Freddie Prinze Jr. too as Kanan, that would be wild. Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Well, no, that would be horrible because then you would have created more holes than answers.
That'd be so crazy. If he could come back as a Force Ghost because he's dead. He can come back as a Force Ghost.
Well, no, you need
as
to-
Freddie Prinze Jr. playing Kanan. That would be wild. I would love that.
Well, no, the thing with Force Ghost is that for any Jedi or Sith to be able to be a Force Ghost, it requires training in the Force. And because you're one with the Force, you need to
But
train.
Kanan was one with the Force, and he was a Jedi Padawan. He just never became a Jedi Knight because the Jedi's got destroyed before he could complete his training.
That's not what I refer to, though.
But no, he could be a Force Ghost.
That's not what I refer to, though.
Okay.
That's not what I refer to. Anyways, if anybody wants to know what I refer to, consider the fact that Qui-Gon was mentioned being brought as a Force Ghost back at the end of Episode 3. Qui-Gon was somebody who was wise, but wasn't able to do it right off the bat.
No, we never saw him as a Force Ghost, but they said he is a Force Ghost, and he was either shown in the Obi-Wan series or he was mentioned, and he was talked about. So yeah, he was there. So Kanan being a Force Ghost would totally be canon in Star Wars. I don't think he's going to show up in this show, but that would be great.
Speculation-wise, if Kanan was brought back to life, it would create way too many issues, too many problems.
No, he's not coming back to life, but it would be great to see him. And it would be cool to see Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan.
Anyways, I would say overall this episode, because this episode was a great deal better, there were a lot of references. I didn't bother to mention the references, though I want to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, for the references that you've seen, you've heard, you more or less understood, feel free to comment them, because we all have our own way of understanding the references. So,
Yeah, thank you.
let us know your thoughts down below.
Let us know. So hit the like and subscribe. This has been a fun show, a fun review. And I don't know if I'm going to be here at Action Burger next week, but I'll be here in 2 weeks. So we can review the final 2 episodes.
Next week, I don't know if I'll be here next week either.
I'll be here in 2 weeks. We'll be back here in 2
same
weeks.
I have my plate full with, I want to say it, but I have my plate full with Star Wars The Old Republic. I have my plate full with Starfield. I have my plate full with Helltaker, and I have my plate full with Liza P.
Awesome, great.
And
Well,
then-
I'm also still on Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm playing Starfield as well. So
I have gone 10 hours in, and I have not even finished the main quest yet.
yeah, 10 hours in. Yeah, I'm 12 hours in, and I did 2 side quests that I completed.
I finished
But I
one
haven't
side
done.
quest.
I haven't done
I
the.
finished
Yeah.
one side quest. I know that I'm currently doing the whole Ryujin industry thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's such a missed opportunity for romance left and right here.
Yeah, but right now I'm just doing the main. I'm going to get back to doing the main quest of Starfield. Anyways, this is Brian J's Nerd Talk. I'll talk to y'all later. This has been great.
This is
And
Steve Stone, Nerd Talk.
y'all have a
It
good
was
night.
Speaking with you all, it was good for you to watch us, good for you to have company, good for us to have you here. We wish you a splendid night and
All right.
a wonderful evening of the Force.
Yep. Have a good night.
Peace be with you.